Hey, it's Missing Real with Mike Darrigo. You can't polish a turd. Hey, Darrigo! Is that you, Darrigo? You ain't mad we made fun of your podcast, are you? Okay, yeah, here we are one more time, Missing Real, bringing back another great 80s movie and bringing back another friend of mine who was in my Season 3 premiere episode. We got us, Evan Lam. One more time. How you doing, Evan?
Good, very good, man. I'm excited for this. So, what do you have for us this time?
Well, what do you have for us this time, man? What's the movie that you decided you wanted to talk about?
Let me guess. Is it about a car?
It's about a car.
Does it go in flames?
It catches fire.
Oh, okay. Okay, Christine. We're going to do Christine.
We are going to do Christine, and that's not what it sounds like. Yeah, all right. Well, that's an option too, I guess. Yeah, Christine. This was an awesome Stephen King book, of course. It got adapted by John Carpenter, one of my favorite directors. It's an excellent mashup there, but I don't know how much King you've read. Have you read a lot of King back in the day or anything?
No, not a lot. I only read the Dark Half. Did I even read Misery? I don't remember. Maybe I didn't finish that, but...
Yeah, neither did Paul Sheldon.
Yeah.
Well, I read just about every damn thing King ever wrote back then, and almost every single film that's been made from a King. You probably saw more King adaptation movies than the book.
Yeah, I see many, and I think several of them he collaborated with John Carpenter, right?
Nah, not exactly. I wish he had, but no, this was actually the only time.
Why am I thinking of The Fog?
The Fog had nothing to do with King. The Mist was King.
Oh, okay.
It's similar.
Mist, fog,
different
vapor.
level of condensation there. But that would have worked. Yeah, The Fog and The Mist are both awesome horror movies. And your chair is creaking, so yeah, you might want to stay still or use a different chair. Or I could edit that out. Yeah, okay.
Let it creak.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy.
Creaky, yeah. We're going to have some creaky, scary sound effects
creak
throughout this episode.
Okay.
All right, so Christine. Now, for once, I did not go to the theaters and see this movie. I don't think you did. Not even a drive-in. Just watched it on VHS. Rented it from Blockbuster.
Oh, so you've seen this movie later on, like years later?
Oh, yeah. I mean, not many years. I probably saw it like the following year, like when it went to video, but I did not see it in the theaters. I mean, I always checked out like whatever Siskel and Ebert were saying about movies. I don't remember if they liked it or not. I didn't really care. When it's a movie I want to see, nothing can stop me. Especially a bad review. And sometimes that encourages me to see a movie.
It actually had bad reviews.
It probably
the reviews weren't that good when the movie first came out. But I loved it, though. I think it's a definitely a cult classic, and I think it's more appreciated now over the years because it's kind of 80s nostalgia horror. It's
got the style that almost all Carpenter movies have, like the same way they look the same, they're shot the same. This has his signature synthesizer score throughout the movie, along with all the 50s hit songs going on. But this was shot in the same neighborhood as Halloween.
Yes.
So, Carpenter always picks up his go-to locations and things. Some of the, I don't know if occasionally he gets some of the same cast members. Harry Dean Stanton was in Escape from New York, so he's here too. In this movie, as a detective that nobody really likes having around.
Who also drives a Plymouth Fury?
Yes, the car he drives.
The popular cop car, different year though.
77 or 78, right?
Yes.
So yeah, the Christine book and the movie, I haven't read the book in a very long time, let's just say decades probably, and I only read it one time, but it's there's one big difference between the movie and the book, is that in the movie, there is no ghost sitting in the back seat of the dead Roland LeBay, the former owner of the car. Because in the book, there was all these ghosts and decaying bodies in the back seat, bitching and talking to him, you're going to take that, you're going to, they're trying to driving Arnie on.
It's like the Dark Half. It's similar, right?
A little bit like the Dark Half, and it also had a lot of similarity with Griffin Dunne in American Werewolf in London from 81, when he was the decaying corpse talking to the protagonist.
Right. So they didn't want to rip that off.
Right.
Which I think was better because the car seems more evil, seems more ominous, right?
Yeah.
That the car itself is evil and not that it's possessed by the evil LaBelle who used to own the car.
Yeah, but how exactly do you think the car got evil? That's never really explained. It just is. It's like a haunted car.
Well, you hear people say some things are just born evil, which this car allegedly was from the shop, right? When one of the factory guys Well, actually, two of them were victims. One of them had his hand crushed by the hood.
Yep.
And the second guy kind of deserved it, right?
Yeah, right. You flick your cigar ashes on a brand new upholstery. But it was covered in plastic. So, I don't know. The car was very, very touchy, I think.
Maybe he should have been covered in plastic.
He was eventually. Wrapped up in a body bag and appearing in that movie with John Carpenter, maybe. But I think my theory about how the car got evil or whatever it was, I think that its original owner, when the car finally just like broke down for the last time, instead of bringing it to the junkyard, he buried it in a car cemetery. Sometimes they come back. Yeah, of course, the car came back 3 weeks later.
Car cemetery.
Because sometimes they came back. Yeah, come on, it could happen. So, all right, that's ridiculous. But all right, the opening of the movie is Detroit, 1957, but the car is a 58. I guess that's what happens. You make it first, then the next year it comes out. So,
well, that's what they usually do, right? They make the car first, and then they release it as the model for the following year.
So this
right?
is a 58.
It seems on time, I guess, right? So you don't want to release a car 1 year, and then by the end of the year, you still call it that same year. When the following year's coming up, right? So it's kind of like, it's an old car.
Right, yeah. It's like not like an iPhone. Like it just comes out whenever you're ready to sell a new iPhone, everybody. But it was a car. It was a 1958 Plymouth Fury. A beautiful car. Not really a scary looking car. Kind of sleek looking and classic. The nice red and white pinstripes on the side there. So, the opening scene is in the factory. 1957 Detroit, and the guys get killed by the car. You hear Bad to the Bone playing, George Thorogood. And of course, this later got cribbed by Terminator 2. It was a theme for a different Arnie. But I think this is the first time it was used in a movie for, like, representing an evil or badass character, even if the character was on wheels instead of legs.
They actually shot a scene with George Thorogood at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
right?
but his acting must have been so horrible.
But those 2 seconds are so horrible. They just decided, you can't act.
Can't use it, man.
If you can't even play an extra in a movie, I mean, that's pretty bad. That's
if you had, like, a George Thorogood music video and the movie's like, you still can't act, but I'm playing myself.
I think they should have left him in there, It would have been a good in-joke.
It would have taken you out of the moment so much. I mean, especially if you see, I wouldn't recognize George Thorogood I don't exactly he's so instantly recognizable. But it's all right, man. A lot of deleted scenes. I don't know if that's on the deleted scenes of the DVD, but yeah, I think it probably is. I think that there's a ton of deleted scenes.
It's one of the deleted scenes.
Yeah. All right, well, it's cool.
In the DVD, yeah.
It wouldn't help the movie. But the opening sequence, to give it a different look, Carpenter just shot that opening sequence on Fujifilm to give it a softer look. And then when he jumps into the 70s, he just, I guess, uses whatever stock film he normally would use. I don't know that. I'm not that technical, but just, it has a different, like that brown, right.
kind
of grainy.
Yeah, well, the 50s look has a nostalgic look, so you want to look kind of dreamy.
Right, a little fuzzy. Maybe somebody smeared the lenses with something. I don't know. Or the film just isn't that high res. Something like that. Oh, and of course, the license plate of Christine, CQB 241, and the CQB stands for
Close Quarter Battle.
Now, where does that figure into the whole thing with a car license plate? Is there some reason why those words are
I'm not sure where they got that idea from, but I'm assuming, Close Quarter Battle just means like in military or in warfare where you're very close to your opponent and you have your gun drawn and it's at waist length and you shoot your opponent. And Christine kind of kills his victims at close quarters. Like, who's that kid who got crushed between the walls?
Moochie, yeah.
Moochie, when he gets crushed, yeah.
Got wiped out.
I don't know why he just didn't jump on top of Christine and run away.
Right, you could have just hopped on the hood. I guess he didn't have that athletic agility to do
He's just standing like, oh yes, kill me, crush my fat body, I deserve this.
Get his little pocket knife. You're dead man now. He gets squished with not a drop of blood. But alright, that was the death scene. And the thing about this movie is not that bloody at all. And it was rated R solely because of its F-bomb count. The profanity in the movie. It took a little bit of critique of it being too laden with curse words, at least until Scarface came out later that year and topped it.
Well, they did that on purpose just to get the R rating, to get the older audience to watch the movie, because they didn't think that they could sell a horror movie with a PG rating.
Yeah, PG-rated horror movie about a killer car. There was another killer car movie that was rated PG. I forgot what it was called. I think it was, The Car.
The Car.
With James Brolin. Just to have a little sidestep about that movie. I mean, that was another ugly ass, but kind of like a menacing car. I looked it up because I was like, what the fuck kind of car is this, man? It looks like a face where the eyes are like too close together. And it's this big ass 71 Lincoln Continental Mark III black coupe. Like, who has one of those?
No, that's kind of creepy.
It was a creepy car.
Even for its time, that the car, it was a big car. It was very menacing, and it's just this big chunk of metal that's very brooding.
Oh, so you remember seeing this?
I do remember seeing it. I thought it was a television movie, but okay.
It kind of seemed it, but they said some curse words in there.
Maybe it's made, rated PG.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, when you listen to the music of The Car, which is okay, And you listen to the music of Christine, and Christine blows it away.
The music.
The music of Christine.
Oh, I don't think the car had much music. It was composed by Leonard Rosenman, the guy that did Star Trek 4, the Christmassy soundtrack. And of course, the only thing I remember about the car soundtrack is the horn, this really obnoxious, like trucker sounding horn, and one good stunt where it does this barrel roll and flips over and crushes 2 cop cars, and then it just lands. We don't see it land on its wheels, but it just keeps cruising along on its merry way. But that was pretty impressive. And at the end, it blows up in this big fire with like Satan's hand coming out of the fire. It was good. I mean, I love the ending of that movie, but yeah, it's just worth mentioning other car movies while we're talking about Christine. But let's talk about Christine. All right, well, Christine stars Keith Gordon, who really didn't have a big name for himself back then. He was only in Jaws 2. I don't remember if he was Fish Food or not, but he was in Jaws 2, and of course he was in Dressed to Kill, Brian De Palma's movie.
Right, he was still kind of like an unknown actor at the time, and I think John Carpenter wanted to spend the money on production with the car and the effects more than the actors themselves. I think he wanted unknown actors, or actors that weren't that well known.
Right. So you don't recognize him so much and go, oh, hey, that's like, the guy from Happy Days. Because I think they did actually, a lot of these movies, they were like, flirting with like hiring people like Brooke Shields or Scott Baio were going to be in this movie. Like, nah, man, that would not. Shouldn't do that.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon, I heard, was even asked.
Kevin Bacon, but then he got Footloose, and I guess it was a better idea for him to do Footloose. But yeah, I couldn't buy him as Arnie, because he's unless he really did like a good...
I don't think he was asked to play Arnie. I think he was asked to play his buddy.
Well, oh, yeah, he could have been Dennis, right? That would have made some sense, definitely. But I like, John Stockwell, who I want to bounce over to after we finish talking about Keith here. But actually, Keith Gordon's performance in this movie, even though it's a little over the top, a little hammy, it's really great. Like the whole arc that he goes through from like nerd to this slick, cool 50s kind of guy.
The evolution of Arnie.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an acting smorgasbord for him, even though like it gets a little bit over the top. Like, when you believe right back into someone, then watch out, don't stop you, no, ever.
Yeah, I mean, there's subtle changes to his character. I mean, if you notice, he should stop wearing glasses in certain scenes.
Yeah, did he have contacts all of a sudden? I guess
he just didn't wear glasses, and they weren't broken because I think when he had them crushed,
they got stepped on.
He actually repaired them, but then all of a sudden he stopped wearing them, and then his hair started to get slicked back. I
don't know. Maybe the glasses could fix themselves too, like the car. Maybe the glasses got haunted and possessed.
Well, dating a woman like Adrian Paul, makes you a popular guy, in school.
Alexandra Paul.
Oh, who am I thinking?
Adrian Paul?
That's a Highlander.
That's Highlander.
Oh,
yeah.
My God.
Well, no, he wasn't in this movie. And Arnie wasn't gay, as far as I remember.
Alexandra Paul,
yeah,
yes.
I wish Adrian Paul was in this movie, too. But no, Alexandra Paul. I don't know if they're related. But Keith Gordon, let me see, what else I got to say about him? Oh, okay. In 1986, he was Rodney Dangerfield's son in Back to School. I couldn't buy that, but all right. And he meets Kurt Vonnegut in the movie. And then later on, he directs Mother Night, which was written by Kurt Vonnegut. Because I guess Keith Gordon, after acting a bit, he just decided he wanted to be a director. He learned so much from De Palma and Carpenter that he just started directing. And he did some pretty cool movies. He was also in a couple... He directed and then he got put out with, with chloroform in a Dexter episode in 2009. If you remember catching him very, very briefly in Dexter.
Right, but just like you said, we were talking about before, evolution of Arnie. He studied his character and he tried to develop different traits for the character. Even when he touches Christine, he imagines himself touching parts of a woman.
Yes, because unfortunately his character didn't get to do too much of that until like midway through the film, when he gets a little bit of Alexandra Paul. You
can't get out of you either.
I can't either. No, I mean, yeah, it's like in an alternate universe, you could have like another version of, with Adrian Paul.
I think Adrian Paul and Alexandra Paul should do a movie together.
They should. About immortals on the beach who drown
with a killer car.
They can only be killed by drowning with their head cut off, and a killer car driving around selling hot dogs and knishes. So John Stockwell, speaking of the beach, he was in some Tom Cruise stuff. He was in Losing It. He was in Top Gun, and then after Cruise, did some movies he went on to direct also. But he did all these like surf movies, like Blue Crush and Into the Blue, and he just looks like he's very happy.
He looks like a beach guy
on the beach. Yeah, he looks like he'd just be hanging out, doing Point Break remakes and shit like that.
He's got that lazy beach look.
He does. Yeah, but that's good for him, man. I like John Stockwell. He's not related to Dean Stockwell, which really disappointed me, but it's okay. Oh, and of course, in the movie, in the high school, and not a major character, but we also get to see a very young Kelly Preston. Very young, the very late, beautiful Kelly Preston. We just lost her a week or two ago, but I remember her back in the good old times with shit like Metal Storm.
Rest in peace.
Yes, I know. She may rest in peace, but the movie resume, I mean, I'm sure she hated it being dredged up. I think Jay Leno or somebody showed a clip of Metal Storm when she was on the show, like after she'd made her big break there, and like, oh, please don't show that. But that's a good one. And 10 to Midnight. But she did other stuff. Man.
She was in 10 to Midnight?
I don't know who she was. She might have been very briefly in 10 to Midnight also. I checked this out, and she was in 52 Pickup with Roy Scheider. She was in Twins. And, of course, she was in The Experts.
Where she met John Travolta?
She met Travolta there. She was like some Russian spy. Jerry Maguire. I think she's in Dusk Till Dawn just as a commentator on the news. A lot of interesting Kelly Preston trivia, man, even though, unfortunately, it took her passing for me to really like look into all this stuff. But she lived with Charlie Sheen for 1 year. And during that 1 year, to show just how crazy it is to live with Charlie Sheen, she was gunned down in her apartment by accident. I don't know how the fuck that happened.
Gunned down by accident.
Like, oh, I wasn't trying to shoot you. Sorry, I was going for Charlie.
Yeah, but you know who she married later on after dating Charlie Sheen?
Yeah, besides Travolta? Oh,
yeah.
She did marry somebody else.
She did marry someone. I'll give you a hint. His name's Wayne Grow.
Kevin Gage.
Kevin Gage.
Oh my gosh.
Wayne Grow from Heat.
All right, well, good for Wayne Grow, man. You know, she must have made his Wayne Grow. But, you know, being with Travolta, it had its ups and downs for her career because aside from the fact that one of her last roles, she played Victoria Gotti alongside her husband there. She also was cast in Battlefield Earth with Travolta. Now, if that's not spouse abuse, I don't know what is. You put your fucking wife in that horrible movie, man. But
I didn't see that.
Oh, you know what else? She's also in the music video of Maroon 5's She Will Be Loved. I didn't know that either. But, you know, like again, if she will be loved, maybe you shouldn't put her in Battlefield Earth. That's what you do to somebody. I
brought up about Kevin Bacon before, and it's interesting because she actually played his wife in the movie Death Sentence, which is like...
Wasn't that a Van Damme movie?
No, it's a different Death Sentence.
Oh, okay.
This one's written by the same author of... what's the Charles Bronson movie? Death Wish.
There's so many Charles Bronson.
Death Wish.
Yeah.
And the movie's like Death Wish. Exacts vengeance for the death of his son. Some rogue gangsters.
That's what Kevin Bacon and Kelly Preston?
Yes.
Oh, all right. There's a whole lot of Kelly Preston stuff we never knew about. But I don't know, and in tribute to her, I guess we talk about it as much as we can and, remember her fondly. But she's just the girl in high school that she's like, hi, Dennis. And, he doesn't really care because then he sees Alexandra Paul, who, for some reason, everyone's, just falling over backwards, gaga in love, eyes popping out of their head like fucking Tex Avery Wolf every time she walks down the hallway. But, she'd end up on Baywatch and... Actually, in real life, she was an incredibly great swimmer. She swam 11 miles in 7 hours in 2009. So I guess she was good for Baywatch, You could go rescue some people off a beach if you got that kind of a physicality, right? But she also got arrested and spent a lot of time in jail doing a lot of protests against the Iraq war and nukes. So, she was an activist.
They probably won't throw her back in the water.
Yes, to get back in the beach. Stay the fuck on the beach. But all right, good for her, man. She stands up for what she believes in, and she gets locked up for what she believes in, and that's all good. Who else is in this movie? Okay, we got a bunch of bullies. They're all pretty great. And at some point, I don't know if you knew this, Nicolas Cage auditioned for the role of Buddy Repperton.
Oh, I totally see him as that.
You see him as Buddy Repperton? So if it's yours, why doesn't it have your name on it? He would have been good.
Yeah, just watch Nick Cage stab yogurt.
Oh, yeah, watch this, right? All right. Fuck you, Dannon. All right, you want some Oikos? It hasn't been invented yet. It's only 78. That would have been awesome. I like it. Nick Cage would have been perfect for this, but this was back around the time of Valley Girl or Vampire's Kiss. This is way pre...
I think it's between Vampire's Kiss and Valley Girl, yeah.
Somewhere around there, yeah. But he was wild.
I think it was 84, 85, yeah.
But that other dude was really great, man. William Ostrander playing Buddy kind of looked like a dirty Jim Morrison, like a pothead, dirty, black-haired Jim Morrison.
It looks a little like John Travolta, too.
A little bit like Travolta, yeah, back in maybe in Carrie or something. But that was great. I mean, everybody was cast well. I liked all the punks. And let me see. Oh, yeah, because I was saying before, Brooke Shields and Scott Baio were actually considered for the leads. But some other good trivia about Kelly Preston. Her first audition was for the Blue Lagoon, which went to Brooke Shields. But that's okay. It doesn't matter who's in the Blue Lagoon or the Return to the Blue Lagoon. I didn't see him.
Wow, Brooke Shields.
Brooke Shields, yeah.
She would have been interesting.
Playing Lee, yeah. She could have. But I don't know. I mean, they might have more focus on her because, hey, I'm Brooke Shields. I need more screen time. Everybody has to play their part and, just serve their purpose. There's so many great character actors in this movie. You just, run through them George LeBay, Roberts Blossom. Not Robert Blossoms. You gotta get your
well, where else have you seen Robert's Blossom? He also plays a creepy guy in another movie.
Home Alone?
Home Alone, that's right.
Yes.
Same kind of creepy guy.
He usually plays a creepy guy, but he doesn't sell the killer card to Macaulay Culkin.
No, he sells him a shovel, right?
He should have. Yeah, he sells him a lot of other good.
He saves him though, right?
I think so. He's good. He's the one you think he's so creepy, but he turns out to be a almost like a Santa Claus at the end of the movie.
Robert's Blossom. I like that girdle he was wearing in Christine. It was looks like a military girdle.
Like a back brace or something. He spent too many years under the car, You give a rat's ass about it. But he was great. He was nice and very, very crusty and bitchy. But he was a good character. He's good in there. And his first... Oh, all right. Not him. That's all I got to say about him, I think. Arnie's parents. I don't know about the dad, but the mom was Christine Belford.
Yes.
You've seen her in some stuff, right? I think she was on a lot of...
She was Rick Schroeder's mom in Silver Spoons.
Silver Spoons. She did a little Battlestar Galactica, the old one. The most interesting thing I know about her is for 5 years when she was a kid, she lived in the Amityville house, the haunted house, before it got sold to the family that apparently got haunted. She was in the house first, so maybe she left the ghost house.
Wow, yeah.
She might have caused that. Don't know. Can't prove anything now. How about Robert Prosky? My favorite character in the whole damn movie is Darnell.
Right, the shop owner.
The shop owner. Oh my God, does he nail that role perfectly? It's the best lines. I think they're probably taken straight from King. I don't really know because again, I haven't read it in a while. But you run that mechanical asshole and he went out the door, so I'll throw you out your ass. And a lot of great lines. Great crusty.
I can't picture him as anything else. He's just.
But he is in a lot of other things. He's in so many things. You just picture him as, once you see that, what else does he do? That's all he should do is that. But he's in a lot of other stuff. He's all clean cut. His first movie was Michael Mann's Thief in 81. And he also showed up in The Keep in 83, another Michael Mann movie that Michael Mann doesn't want to do anything about, and I wish they would put it out on fucking Blu-ray.
He should have been in Heat, too.
He should have been in Heat. He might have been in Heat, but I don't think he was there. But Wayne Grove was in Heat. But, about Robert Prosky and the Darnell character, this is not really, explicitly mentioned anywhere, but if you watch the opening of the film, the guy that discovers the dead body inside Christine kind of looks like young Darnell. And there's a theory that's probably supposed to be him. It's another actor that looks like a young Robert Prosky. Could be, don't know, maybe.
So that guy's supposed to be young Darnell.
Yeah, it kind of looks like him. He wears the same kind of clothes. I think he's chomping on his own little cigar. Or he has a clipboard in his hand. I'm not sure. We could check. But that's it's speculation. So, all right, well, whatever about the movie. It's in the late 70s. They have the high school scenes. There's the car. We all know what happens, right? He discovers this car in the lot. It's all dusty, disused, and rusting. And it seems like Christine the car will only drive itself and come to life when it's got somebody to care for it. And if it doesn't, it just falls into decrepitude like that.
Right, it's kind of like a vampire in hibernation, right?
More or less, right. And then when
they're never dead, but it brings back to life when there's blood, when there's life, when someone gives it love.
Well, I don't think it gets any blood. Yeah, at least maybe it gets some on the grill. You never even see a drop of blood on the car. But then Arnie just takes a shine to this car, and I don't know what it is. It draws him in, and it's I think I found something that's uglier than me. He fixes it up. Little help from Darnell's shit pile out back. Build a whole fucking car with my stuff. But then he restores Christine, and the bullies see his car, and then they decide that they want to fuck with it. And then when he gets his car all nice, and he shows up at the football game, and his buddy Dennis is playing football. This is one thing I was wondering. Dennis sees Arnie. He's got Alexandra Paul as his date, and everybody was trying to ask her out, and she keeps shooting them all down. So he sees Arnie with the car. The car is all beautiful, restored, and he's got Alexandra Paul. And then he gets tackled. And he sustains an injury. He gets laid up in the hospital. So do you think that Christine caused that accident, or was just him not paying attention? And
I think it's just him being in shock that his buddy, that his sidekick, won the girl that he wanted.
Right, and that his
sidekick... and Christine being restored. To see the whole picture of Arnie making out with Lee and the car, being redone, it looks like a dream. It's maybe it's like a mirage. It's not really there. So for a second, I think Dennis...
Right.
Is in shock, and he just forgets totally, I gotta catch this ball. Oops.
This guy couldn't get laid to save his life. Now he's getting Lee. Oh my gosh. And he gets tackled. That's a great scene, because actually it takes Dennis out of the action for a while, which is kind of cool, because then you don't really see him and Arnie interacting for very long until he comes back to the hospital, and every time he visits him, he's getting a little bit more cool. He's less and less of a dork, more and more cool, and a little bit more sinister. Things are happening between him and the car.
It's a creepy kind of cool.
It is. It's very creepy. Yeah. He becomes more dark, and then he finds out, after the guys trash Christine, they all sneak into the garage when he leaves it there, and they demolish it. And it's kind of the car doesn't do anything to defend itself, I guess, because I guess it has to wait until Arnie gets the rage and he wants revenge, and it kind of connects with him, because the car could probably just fuck everybody up there like Chuck Norris if it wanted to, but it gets demolished. Someone takes a shit on the dashboard. It's described in more detail in the book, I think. It's a few pages about the fecal matter.
Wow, how would you do that? I mean, I could see you do it on top of the car, but to take a dump on the dashboard.
Well, it's I don't know. Maybe it's like it's very.
I mean, in what kind of position would you have to be? You'd have to stand on a seat, right?
Well, maybe he wants
with
to
your
make
ass
sure.
facing the windshield, but then it's like you really don't have headroom.
Believe me, it can be done. But I think that he really wanted Arnie to see that piece of shit, just in case he was like oblivious to all the damage. I don't know. It's just like more insult to injury. And the car, just when Arnie finds it, he's all upset with everything, and then he goes back to the shop and he starts caressing the car like we could beat them, and boom, and the car starts inflating itself back. You know, the car could do its own body work. I mean, what more could you ask for? It's awesome. I guess the shit had to get cleaned off by Arnie, but I think the car did everything else itself. Oh, when you see the car a few times, like you see the radio console in the front of the car several times in the movie, I don't know if it's just me, but it really looks, I know it's a 57 manufactured car, it really looks like there's a CD slot under the radio. I swear to God.
I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to say you can see like a green sentience on the radio.
Well,
like in the Matrix.
The green glow, yeah, that kind of means a little bit of something. But no, it's just a dial-up radio that doesn't get anything but 50s songs. But it's just like amazing because it really looks like this is a slot under, like it looks like a CD would fit in there. Like if that car wanted me, if I was some nerdy kid back then, which I was probably back in like in the 80s or whatever, I find this car and I look on the dashboard and I look on the seat. Hey, what's this compact disc with a picture of a planet, like this scarab-shaped thing blasting out of a silver sphere? Like, what? Okay, I'll take it, man. It's the devil. You know, I don't think this album's even out yet, but I'll take it.
The car was also wrecked a few times, right? So how many cars did they use for Christine?
Yeah, they used like 17 or 18 cars, I think, for this movie.
At least, right? I think it was anywhere from 13 to 30 cars.
They had like they had like hero cars that would just drive. Then they had some that you could just smash, and they had like the rubber inflatable cars for the special.
Right, and I don't even think all of them were Furies. I think some of them were Bel Airs too, because some of the Bel Airs look like the Fury.
They might have done that. I mean, I honestly...
They had the same body shape, the same tail fin,
for certain angles, you could probably use another car. And I think when you do see, there's a little bit of a Christine cameo in another Stephen King movie a couple of years later, Cat's Eye, when the Plymouth Fury pulls up, but it doesn't have the same license plate. That's the only thing I notice about it. It's not the same plate. And
it actually says Christine on a plate, right?
It has like a bumper sticker, like I am pure evil, I am Christine. But like, that's not scary. It's like... Cat's Eye was really not a scary movie, but it was a good movie. It was just,
and that's why it was PG.
It was PG, rightfully so. I don't think nobody drops an F-bomb in there. But Christine, honestly, it's not like a scary movie at all. It's not bloody. It's not scary. It's just a really good like character-driven story with some creepy supernatural shit. I mean, if you're like in the situation, if you're watching your best friend turn from like helpless to malicious and like you don't know what to do about it, it's pretty cool, especially if you think there's like some supernatural car that can kill people or could like cause your girlfriend to choke on a burger in the car. I think Alexandra Paul was just choking because she's a vegetarian and she didn't want to eat the burger. They couldn't make a good veggie burger for her, so.
But it was a veggie burger.
I know. I think it was a real beef burger, but she's like pushing the meat back with her tongue. No wonder everybody wanted to date her.
Pushing the meat back with her tongue.
That's why everybody wanted to date her. Yeah, that Adrian Paul, man, he's got some skills.
Alexandra Paul.
Yeah, that's right. But playing with that meat.
You're in love with the Highlander.
That was like the dirtiest part of the movie. Like they were groping each other in the car, but like that was it. And then the windshield wiper stops. Christine tries to kill her, and some dude does the Heimlich maneuver. But how does the door open? Like if Christine really doesn't want the doors to open, they won't open. But somebody gets the door open, or Lee pulls up that little button thing like cars used to have.
Well, she got lucky because the Heimlich maneuver guy just happened to be able to open the door on her side.
Yeah. They could try to smash the glass. You know it can be broken. But it was cool. I mean, the car lit up inside. Like, it glows. Yeah, that was like the end of their dating, I think. Like, she got too freaked out after that. And she's like, the car's jealous, Arnie. Goddamn car. But yeah, it was. Because the car, I mean, you're not going to have sex with your car. I would hope not. I mean, I know he's pretending it's a woman, but, there's no scenes where he actually gets graphically sticking his dick in a muffler or whatever. Like, there's nothing that explicit. Unless it had gone on longer. Maybe. He might have burned it. Oh, I should have let it cool down first, man. Ow! That's love, man. You really love your car. You spend more time with that car than you do with me. Yeah, it's got a tighter... I don't know if it's this disgusting autoerotica. There are some movies... I saw some shitty short movie where some motorcycle turns into a woman and the guy's riding the motorcycle and then like it becomes a woman.
Motorcycle turns into a woman.
And he's fucking the motorcycle as he's riding it. It's like the legs come up around him. It's a really weird movie. I think it's on this short film collection called Tales of Erotica that Mira Sorvino was in one episode. And believe me, it's like really...
Was she the motorcycle?
No, she wasn't. That would have been great. But it was like a really weird anthology of fucked up movies that are like slightly erotic, but it wasn't like porn or anything. It was just like weird short films, and I remember that. But no, the Plymouth Fury does not turn into a woman, but he treats it like one. Don't want someone slapping you, girl, thing like that.
Well, another interesting thing why Stephen King picked Plymouth Fury is because that car actually wasn't popular until the movie.
Right, yeah, nobody really talked about those. It was always some other...
He didn't want to pick a Cadillac right there. He wanted to pick a forgotten car.
But right, one that's like, it's like worth remembering or noting. Like, that's a pretty cool car. What is that? Like, nobody really asked about the car. You know, that black Lincoln kind of...
I think only you and I know the car.
I'm sure a lot of people know the car. That was all we had back then. Before Christine came along. Or there was Duel with the freaking truck, but nobody stopped to go, oh, wait. Was that a Freightliner? Oh, it's awesome. Like, nobody cared. It was just a truck trying to kill Dennis Weaver. And then everybody ripped it off, you know. Even a lot of movies ripped that shit off. But the car, yeah, that was like Christine with none of the storyline, none of the characters. And it did have Ronnie Cox, though. And it had James Brolin, you know, Thanos' dad.
Ronnie Cox.
Had some good people in that movie. But, yeah, Christine was like my favorite killer car movie because there aren't that many of them. Let me see, what other cool shit happens here? All right, we get Harry Dean Stanton later on in the movie trying to find out what's going on. And he's like interviewing Arnie on the lot. He's like, you know, I didn't know they still made this shade of red. Arnie, they made this shade of red? Like, I don't know, I bought it. They're talking about cars. You know, I drive a 77. Those cops all drive those, you know. And Arnie's like, when you get off my back, all right, why don't you go look for your cat? You know, isn't Jonesy out there somewhere? Fuck off, man. All right, fine. You know, oh, you came to repo my car? Get the fuck out of here.
The Repo Man.
Yeah, he was the Repo Man. Stanton there is like trying to sniff out like what's going on. He doesn't know if Arnie's dirty or not. And like he always has an alibi. And he's working for Darnell, driving Darnell's car. So after a while, like Dennis and Lee realize that Arnie's car is possessed and Arnie's like not himself. He's like getting all creepy and shit. And they decide like we have to confront this car. Like it's the car. We have to destroy it. So Dennis goes to the parking lot and he scratches Darnell's Tonight on the hood. Now, that car is sentient. I would have thought it would just like flip its hood up and boom, like knock fucking John Stockwell's head right off. But it doesn't. It just sits there and takes it like, motherfucker.
And you know what? He was flying by the car before, right? Because he tried to go into the car and starts blasting the radio.
Yes.
It's like, you keep knocking, but you can't come in.
Right, the car knows that he's onto it. But it doesn't attack people. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it leaves them be. It's like weird. Like when Darnell discovers the car pulling in all crispy and burnt after it runs down Buddy and people. It's like fried. It's like it's ashy, black, smoking heap. He tries to touch it like an idiot and burns his hand, but then he goes and sits inside of it for no reason. Like, I'm sitting inside this car.
But I think that's when you realize that Christine is killing the people on her own.
Right.
And not behind.
There's no driver.
Right, and Arnie's not behind the wheel.
Well, we kind of figured that from the get-go. It isn't like a big shocker or twist to the audience, but he is like... What is he impressed that there's nobody in the car? Like, wow, this car could drive itself. I'll just sit down inside of it and see what happens to me. And it gets squished by the seat. Another non-gory demise, but pretty stupid. So he gets discovered like squished in the front of the car, but the car is perfect again. It's like all restored.
Right, when Harry Dean Stanton comes back.
New paint job. And it's like, and then Arnie sees the car after he finds out your boss, Will Darnell, dead in the front seat. He goes like, why? He asks the car, why? Like, what did he do? Well, he called it a mechanical asshole. He called Arnie a creep and a snot-nosed kid and, whatever. He insulted him enough, even though like he helped him build it back. Doesn't matter.
He must have been really fat for the seat to crush him. Because like, you figure, like, with any car, how far up can the seat go, right?
Well, it was probably a custom job, you know. It could seat midgets and really, really small, skinny type of people. So Darnell was just like easy bait. But yeah, I don't know why he dies. I don't know like if he dies the same way in the book. I think there's a lot of differences in the deaths. Not to mention Junkins, Harry Dean Stanton, would have been dead too, but he survives. In the book, he gets killed. I don't remember how. But the end of the movie is just like, how are we going to kill this car? Because it's, it's a car. It's not supposed to even be alive. But they get a bulldozer. They jumpstart the bulldozer. And Arnie comes this time with the car. He's driving it. And he gets killed going through the windshield by crashing, trying to kill Lee. And the car, basically a piece of glass, kills Arnie. If the car was so nice, the glass would not have shattered and gotten him in the gut like it does. Because, a piece of the car basically kills Arnie. So that didn't make any sense. So I think that car was not...
I thought that scene was actually very short. It was so simple. Like he just crashed the car and his body just flies out.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a hard crash.
There's one little jump scare, which is good. And, the one little bit of blood is when he pulls the glass shard out. And I felt really bad for him. He touches her grill like, bye, baby, you fucking bitch. You shouldn't have put this glass in my gut. Like, why don't we have, like, shatterproof glass or something? He could have customized that, too, right? But he didn't. I don't know. I just thought, like, it was weird how he dies. And I don't even know, again, if that's how he dies in the book, because it's been a long while. I may want to read it again. But But yeah, they smushed the car with the bulldozer. The one cool thing that I love at the ending, though, is like when the car looks like a shark mouth, like the grill is all sharpened, and that couple of shots makes it look very, very menacing. And they get rid of it pretty easily. There's nowhere for it to go. It's not like it could like drive itself back out the door if it chickens out. It's just like it wants to kill them.
Right. So after Arnie dies, right, and the car and Christine still goes after Denison Lee, do you think the car is like determining, getting revenge? Arnie's death, because you figure at that point it ceases to live because Arnie's dead.
Well, it's got nobody else to love it anymore. It's not like somebody else is going to take the car. Like Dennis don't want it. He never liked it in the first place. But no, I don't know what it is. It's just maybe it's just piss. Like honestly, like Christine could have kept Arnie alive. It should have been like more reinforcement inside the driver's seat. It should have been like Stuntman Mike's car.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't death proof.
It wasn't death proof, right? Yeah, if you had that car, that should have been the Christine car. And then Kurt Russell might have died, but not from going through the windshield. I can tell you that. Just be a bunch of angry chicks pulling him out and stomping the shit out of him when he gets done with it. Another great killer car. That was more of like was that more like of a Vanishing Point homage because they try to use the car? And
he used two cars. He had two cars in that.
Yeah.
In Death Proof. He had a Chevy Nova and then he had a Dodge Charger.
Oh, all right, good.
Both with the skull painted on.
I don't remember that, but yes, you pay more attention to these car details than I do. I know. But yeah, the end of Christine, the car gets squished into a big block. And at the very, very end, after the deleted George Thorogood scene, you see like one little piece of the fender creaks. Like there might be a new Christine movie. You hear Bad to the Bone come back on, and maybe the car will come back, but it doesn't. There was no need. There could have been a Christine sequel, but why? I don't know. It's good enough, yeah?
Yeah, I think they made a Christine sequel, short.
Not that I'm aware of. Nope, just that little cameo at the beginning of Cat's Eye when it almost runs over Cujo. That's about it. But no, I would love to see a remake. I mean, maybe not a remake. Maybe a remake with a lot of blood. Or, a good cast.
A lot of blood, no F-bombs.
No F-bombs, right? Everyone speaks very politely. Nobody tells their mom or dad, get your mitts off me, motherfucker. But Keith Gordon was really great. I think he like really rivets you down into the movie, and he's just fun to watch. Really crazy performance, and the car is cool. I mean, whatever happens, it's got presence, it's good character, and I mean, I don't care if it didn't do well in the box office, it's okay, because, we got video. We all rented it and owned it now and watched it a bunch. And there were really no other good killer car movies after that. Like, what did you get? There was another Stephen King movie about a lot of vehicles that could drive themselves, and it was Maximum Overdrive. It's like Christine's extended family, all driving around killing people, and this big giant truck.
It's like the Goliath from Knight Rider.
This green goblin truck thing going around, and it was a pretty stupid-ass movie. I don't remember liking it at all. It's like Emilio Estevez is in the middle of it all. Like, what am I doing in here, man? I hope I can get Free Jack or something good like that to do. Which he does.
Free Jack.
Yeah, we just talked about that, Dave Chan and I. But that's a different episode. I don't know, man. What else about Christine? Any more thoughts or comments or memories about this movie? That's about it, right? You stalled. You stalled.
It's pretty much, yeah.
That's it, but it was good, man. It was one of my favorite John Carpenters. I mean, the music is amazing. I love Carpenter's music. It really brings the atmosphere, all that synthesizer shit. But then also, you got the oldies, and there's always an appropriate song playing. Keep on Knocking, or there's something about She's as Skinny as a Stick of Macaroni when they're crushing Darnell. It's like, you got to listen to the lyrics and oh shit, what is my fate going to be? I'm going to get squished, man.
I mean, I think that kind of music is actually creepier, and it goes better with horror.
A little bit.
Because it contrasts that.
Yeah, I mean, the car is old, and that's the only songs it'll play, which is kind of cool. Like, it doesn't matter. If you stick a CD in that CD player, which is not really a CD player. Let's say I put in, like, a Muse CD, but it starts playing, like, Otis Redding when the disc goes inside. Like, oh, shit, man, this car's possessed. I better get rid of it. But, yeah, I never had any creepy shit happen with my car. And if I did, I would hope that it works in my favor. Like, it incinerates parking tickets whenever they touch the windshield or things like that,
Right, or flips the license plate when it gets zapped.
Yeah, when I'm trying to get away. Right, if you scan my plate, it's a new plate, different state. I don't know. Or it could just the only thing I really want my car to do is just shrink down into a suitcase like George Jetson's. That's the only thing I ask of my supernatural car. Everything else is fine. Wouldn't be too bad to have
Tony Stark's car.
Tony Stark's car, which you could also wear as a suit, probably, right? You could wear your car, right? Instead of a suitcase.
Like a backpack.
Don't even have to carry it. Just like it is your clothing, and it's like flexible, kind of Teflon. Yeah, I may have to talk to David Franklin again about that one, but there's not enough technology in Christine to warrant that conversation. Oh, hey, before we go, I think I have to do this. Hey, well, don't be shy. My podcast, your podcast. Have a beer. Toast. Death to the shitters of the world 2021. You drink to that?
Yeah.
All right, fine.
We should drink to friendship.
Friendship. That's good. That's real good. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, my friend. This beer is so good, man. It's Diet Pepsi brew. Thank you for being on my podcast, Evan. It was really fun talking Christine.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it was a blast.
We'll do some more, man. All right, let's burn rubber. Get the hell out of here. See everybody next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Let's motivate.
Okay. Is that it? You done with your podcast?
Yes, I believe I am.
Then shut your pie hole. Look how cockeyed he works, Pepper.